my name is Elizabeth and welcome to my Draw With Me. With this artwork, I'm drawing a kind of unintentional self-portrait of myself. Initially, it was just supposed to be a random portrait of a random person, but then I slowly realized, hey, this kind of looks like me, so I leaned more into that. But yeah, this is not my first video, but it's my first Draw With Me video. Maybe you guys are still here from my very, very, very old, really bad animations, but I have not posted a lot at all. But yeah, I wanted to give it another try and figure out this YouTube thing, because I think it would be fun. But right now, this is just like a speed paint-ish. It's still 30 minutes long, but I'm just gonna be talking and yapping, and you know, that's why it's a draw with me, because yeah. But also my original oh my goodness, it originally took me 2 or 3 hours to complete this illustration. So I had to like put it up to 500 X speed or something just to get it down to 30 minutes. But yeah, let's see, what can I talk about? I haven't done one of these before, so I guess I could talk about my inspirations. What you'll notice in a lot of my work is that I really enjoy textures and painterly styles, but not even just like brushstroke styles, but also like watercolor. Watercolor, I need some noise in there. I love a good pencil brush. I just love slapping a bunch of textures back and forth. And you might see me refer back to other older pieces of work of mine just so I can remember what I did to achieve something, because sometimes I forget. Like sometimes that's one thing that I find really fun about messing with painterly styles, because I could just use any brush. I can just randomly slap something down. If I don't like it, I paint over it and try again. Yeah. I also like using this one blending brush that I got from, one of just Photoshop's Kyle's brushes. I realized that they have a lot of cool brushes on their website that you could just download for free and test out. I found a lot of cool stuff that way, but I also enjoy finding brushes from other artists and taking them or buying them, depends if they have it for free or not. But yeah, usually I work on 1 or 2 layers. I like to merge as I go, but I like painting on one layer and then making a new one and painting on that one, just so I can flip back and forth to see the progress, because sometimes I feel like I'm not going anywhere, so I need to see it in order to have enough motivation to continue with the piece of artwork. But yeah, I also like, I don't know, I love messing with painting hair. I want to get better at painting more detailed hairstyles like braids and cornrows and stuff. That I don't know why, but styles like that always trick me up. But like doing twists and like just afro hairstyles are easier, because it's just making sure it looks fuzzy and soft. But let me see, any other common themes in my work? I don't know, big heads, big eyes. It depends. I'm trying to steer away from really big eyes, but I don't know, I keep coming back to it. I want to experiment more with, kind of realistic proportions, but kind of not. This is obviously not realistic at all in the proportions, but I love stylized heads with like kind of not hyper realistic, but like realistic painterly styles together. I don't know, I really like how that looks. It's also something that I want to add to my animation work. Oh yeah, I could talk about that. I'm an animator-ish. I'm studying animation. Currently, I'm going into my junior year, which is scary. It's terrifying. More specifically, it's 3D animation that I'm working on, learning more about. Gosh, the workload is really a lot, but it's fun. You know, I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I attend Ringling College of Art Design. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. But I really like it here. And yeah, I like it here. It has its pros and cons, you know. There's some interesting people who go here. Most of the people are nice. But yeah, I enjoy everything. I love animation. I guess I could talk about that. How much I love animation. And what I want to focus on. I love character animation. I love, but most specifically, like subtle character animation. I can appreciate like the over exaggerated styles of animation too. That is also really hard to achieve, but I also just love like little details in animation or like little character quirks that some characters put on, and I enjoy achieving that in my own work. You know, I think that's pretty cool. And with my animation, maybe I'll post a couple. I don't actually know. You can, if you want to see my animation, you could check my Instagram, but most of the time I'm not satisfied with how it comes out. I mean, I'm kind of a beginner, but not really. I'm more of an intermediate person. I don't know. It's hard to say because sometimes I think it looks good and then I look at others' work and I'm like, dang, I'm really bad. Or looking at professional animators, you know, and looking at their work, it can be very detailed. Very a lot. And it's like there's so many overlapping elements. Nothing moves at the same time. And there's so many things you have to pay attention to. And no one, if you study it, then you know how impressive it is. I just love it. I just love it. I love animation. A few things that I enjoy are collecting inspirations. And the hardest part with finding my style type was like figuring out the stuff that I actually liked. Like I could look at a piece of artwork and say, oh wow, that is good. Like this is a good piece of artwork. But when I would try to emulate that, I realized I wasn't happy with it. Even if it did look close to it, the artwork that I liked, I didn't like it. And I realized that even though I like the art, doesn't mean that I want to paint in that way or to make art in that way, and that's completely fine. Like I can like a piece of art and not want to paint like that, if that makes any sense. So I decided to create a Pinterest board filled with all of my art inspirations, and I would slowly pick out the ones that I like. You know, I like their art, but would I enjoy painting it myself? Probably not, because I like looking at really simple graphic styles, but I wouldn't paint that in that way. You know, I really love textures and I really love detail, but at the same time I could take something away from it. Like I like the shape language, so I like those artists for their shapes, you know, and I want to emulate their shapes, you know. Of course, like everything else about their work is good, but for my style, I wanted to take this part from it and move it into my work, if that makes any sense. So that's what I started doing. I created a Pinterest board. I just called it like Master Painters or something, you know, whatever. Basically artists that I like. And I organized boards within that board of, you know, the artists and their names, and I put some of their work in there. And then I started to see the type of style. Oh my gosh. I started to see the type of style that I liked. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I can do something with this. Like, for example, who is one of them that I followed for a while? I like, oh my goodness, I hope this is how you say their name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kingi? I don't know. I'll put their work up. But I'm sure some of you guys have seen this artist before. But I really love, I'm not a bright saturated color person. If you look at my work, then you can see that. But I really enjoy their characters and their shapes and their weird subject matter that they have. So I put that in my boards, not for their colors, but mostly for their shape language, their shading style, stuff like that. They have a very interesting way of seeing the world, and I love it. So that's why they're in my toolkit. I guess you could say that artist toolkit. Let me throw up another artist. Let's see. Oh, my favorite artist, even since when I was younger, Pasaka Denizu. I might not be saying their name right, but I also really, 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 really love their work. Their line art is so thin, and I tried to paint like that. I still have yet to really take a grab. I don't know, their line art is so thin, but it has so much form, and their perspective is just insane. Everything that they make is insane, and if you zoom in, it looks so simple, but like stepping back and looking at the artwork as a whole, it's so detailed. But yeah, I enjoy looking at their work. It's amazing, so nice. They have like a kind of, what I took from their work, they have like a kind of watercolor-esque style, kind of ink pen watercolor, but I'm pretty sure most of this or all of it is digital. But yeah, and that's what I like about it. So for my work, I like to use watercolor brushes just to get that texture in there, and while I paint over most of my lines, I try to keep some of them in my work, depending on how I'm feeling, really. But I would like to mess around with more dynamic compositions and storytelling images, because that's one thing about my work. I don't really take risks in like more storytelling images. Like, I can paint a portrait. I love painting portraits. I just love painting just faces. But sometimes it's boring. I feel like it's boring. And I feel like other people think it's boring too. I don't know. I feel like my stuff is boring most of the time. So I have to change that up a little and experiment more with that. But yeah, I love her work. It's so dynamic and so good, and I want to try to make something like that. That's on my bucket list or whatever. But things are hard when you have a lot of work on your hands, especially since I'm still a college student. Like, even with this work, I can only make it after college is over. So yeah, in like this video, honestly. But I'm gonna try to be more consistent. Hopefully things turn out okay and I could be more consistent with my work, but we'll see. We'll see about that. Alright, I'm getting better at this speaking while doing nothing thing for 30 minutes. Let's throw out another artist that I like. Ooh. Who can I think? Walter Wick. Okay, this person, Walter Wick, their art, he's a photographer, but if you've seen the I Spy books, like the images in those books, those are his. When I was younger, I was obsessed with the I Spy books. Not just because, it's fun little poems in there and you have to find all the little things, but the images, they're so well composited together. And like, how can you do that with just objects? Like, it's the compositions in all his work so good. I just can't. My favorite one, I'll probably throw it up here, is one of my favorite ones. I love all of them, but one of my favorite ones is like about a ballerina, or it has a ballerina in the image, and it's like all glowy and subtle like, and there's so many little textures, and like, that's another thing with his images. He plays with objects, but he also uses textures very well. Like, he chooses objects that are like that fit the theme of each poem. Like, I think I found the image of the ballerina. This is the poem associated with this image. I spy a lake, 5 buttons, a 4, 3 brushes, a comb, and a musical score, a spool of thread, a boat, an ace, 6 bobby pins, and a card from Grace. I'm like, this is so musical score and Grace. Okay, ballerina. Anyway, I could go on and on about his work, but his work has such a dreamlike quality to it, and I really appreciate that. And with my animation and film, like, I want to get better at compositing in my animation, and I really like how his photos are composited, and I want to do something similar like that. You know, they give me, I don't know, it's just like that old movie, cozy, late night kids show, you know, type feel to his work. And I want to achieve that in mine, whether that is like painting or in my paintings or in my animations. So I like that. I like that a lot. What else can I yap about? Let me see. I'm sure there is another artist if I take a quick look here. I guess I could also talk about my film. Since I'm an animation student, I could talk about my film inspirations, or animated inspirations. But, yeah. I think I'll stick with art for now. Norman Rockwell. Of course, every artist knows or should know about Norman Rockwell. I loved his work ever since I was really young, like 12, 13-ish. Well, I would say more 14. I think that's when I figured. So, I mean, I've seen his work around, I just didn't know his name. But Norman Rockwell is such a good storyteller with his work. The way he paints his scenes are really nice, and I love his shape language. I just love his shapes. Every painting, or like if you look at his drawings, every painting or drawing, they feel real. They have form to it. And that's another thing that I want to achieve in my work is form. I love it when it doesn't feel flat. I love my work when it doesn't feel flat. If it feels flat, I will not be happy, and I would be very sad. But besides Norman Rockwell, the artist that I love, I would say even over Norman, is Leyendecker. Oh my gosh. Leyendecker is amazing. The shapes in his shading are unbelievable. His colors are unbelievable. The anatomy and the stylization of the forms, also unbelievable. I could go on and on and on and on about his stuff. It's just so good. I did one study of his work, I think, but that was like a couple years ago. No, not even a couple years ago, like 3-4 years ago. It was when I was trying to get into Procreate. I'm not a Procreate person, I'm sorry. I might try it again, but I just don't like Procreate. But yeah, I love his work. I love how expressive his expressions are, that he paints. I love the way he paints arms and hands. Some of his paintings have kind of a rubber hose quality to it that I enjoy. Yeah, I love that one. I love him. I love their art. Yeah, I guess those are just some of the inspirations that I like. You know, I have a whole board. You can even look on it, actually. It's just my username, Eve Glover Art. And you could look at not all of them, some of them are private boards, but most of them, they aren't private, I don't believe. But I love Pinterest. I have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest. The one thing I love about Pinterest is there's so many things on there, and then you could organize them into organize them and keep them. But the one thing that I don't like is that anyone can take art and post it on it and not credit the artist. So, like, sometimes I find an artist and I have to do like a Google reverse search to find out who it is, but even sometimes that doesn't work. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this art, but I can't find the artist. This is so sad. This sucks, So, I have a love-hate relationship. And now with the rise of AI art, it's like, It's awful. And I hate the little AI tag, because sometimes it puts that tag on things that are not AI. And I'm like, I know this artist, and their artwork is not AI. Why is there an AI tag on it? You know, like, unless someone put like an AI filter over it and then edited the colors slightly and then uploaded. I don't know, but it's still weird, and I just don't like it. Thankfully, I've been on Pinterest for long enough that my For You page is mostly cultivated with the stuff that I like, and most of that, of course, that leaves out AI art and whatever. So my feed is pretty safe. Another thing is annoying this all their little ads, but I mean, it's not too annoying for me. But I've been using Pinterest for years. Ever since my mom introduced me to Pinterest when I was like 10, 11 years old, I've been on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I use it for everything when creating ideas and trying to figure out a general vibe. There are alternatives to Pinterest. There is one. Where is it called? I want to say there is Pinterest alternatives. There is, what is it? I think it starts with a C. I really wanted to say it starts with a C. Oh god. Kara. Yes, Kara, and then there's Cosmos. Kara and Cosmos. Which one was the one I delved into a bit? No, not Kara. Well, I mean, yeah, Kara. Kara's okay. I haven't used it personally. I think it was Cosmos that I was thinking of. But Cosmos has a very specific type style, in my opinion. Which, I mean, it kind of works if you're into that style. But it's not really my thing. I've used it a couple times. They have very good inspiration for like interior design, kind of painterly strokes, figure portraits. They have a couple movie stills in there and some good photography, but it's a very specific vibe. If you saw it, you would understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, you can look at that for reference images as well. I still end up going back to Pinterest because, I don't know, I've been using it for such a long time now, so it's kind of hard to just stop. And I did try to like, well, maybe I should just download images of artists that I find and keep it in a drive or something, but that takes up storage space, and storage space that I don't have or need to use for something else. But yeah, I love Pinterest. If you want to see my inspirations, or like artist wise or image wise, you can check my Pinterest, which is just the same as my username, eGloverArt. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to talk about. That's the thing. I've been trying to figure out video types that I think is very achievable for me to do with my busy schedule, and I think this might be the way, since all I have to do is paint something, maybe speed it up. I'm debating if I should speed it up or just cut it into parts, but you know, that's just whatever. And then I could just talk about random stuff. And you know, it's hard. It's hard to just yap by yourself for 30 minutes. Sometimes you feel like a crazy person, but I talk to myself anyway most of the time, so it's it's okay. I'm okay. Trust. But yeah. So if you like my art and if you like my yapping, I mean, I'll probably get better at it. Hopefully, but I'm going with more. Oh my gosh, I'll probably get better at it. Hopefully, the more I make more videos, and maybe I should just find a topic and yap about that for 30 minutes. But even that's a skill. Just one topic. How can I yap about one thing in 30 minutes? Like, even now, I just was jumping between school, my inspirations, artists that I like, back to school or something, animation, all in 30 minutes. And then what if I repeat something I already said, I don't know. This is hard. This is harder than it looks. Yapping for 30 minutes is harder than it looks. Who would have thought? But yeah, So if you like this piece, wow, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Ko-fi, I think it's Ko-fi, like coffee. My commissions are open currently. I don't know when you're gonna see this video, but if you want to commission me, you should look at my Ko-fi, whatever, and you can commission me from there. And I can make something as lovely as this unintentional self-portrait of me. Wow, amazing. Never before seen. But yeah, yeah, that's about it, I would say. Follow me on everything. Don't follow me in real life. That'd be scary. Unless you're my friend, I already know, and that's fine. But yeah, I hope this was a nice draw with me. I hope you were drawing with me. I mean, you could just listen to me too. That's fine. But I don't think I'm that interesting. But awesome. Alright, I think this is it. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. I hope you have a very fruitful day, life, year. Yeah. God bless you all. Goodbye.